Okay guys, this video is a little bit different than other videos I've posted. This is more of a, hey, when we actually get to go back to school, where am I going? What's your room actually look like, so it won't feel weird after we've been online for however long we have to be online and you actually come to my room. By the way, the hallway lights would usually be on, but apparently I'm here a little later than I should be. So they just turned off the lights, but the lights would normally be on. And you would turn into room 253. So room 253 is the physical room that you are in for U.S. history. And this is a room that has a lot of history to it, pun intended. But this classroom, room 253, when it opened up in 1957, had a very experienced teacher, a great teacher by the name of Mr. Carver, who took over this room. And Mr. Carver ended up with 42 years of teaching experience, over 30 of which were in this room. And then when he left this room, Mr. Marquardt, another great history teacher, took over this room for roughly, not quite 20 years. And then, after Mr. Marquardt retired, they let in this bum named Mr. Penrose take over the room, I think in 1998. I had been here 2 years, and I've been in here ever since. So it's kind of amazing to think that Sandusky High School as an institution has actually been around since 1845. It's been in various different buildings, but it's been in this building since 1957. And going all the way back to 1957, only 3 teachers have had the privilege to be in this room, and I'm very proud to be one of those teachers. So when you come into this room, you're gonna notice some basic things around the room. Oh, I've gotta find my pointer, hold on. What use is having a pointer when you're teaching online if you can't use it, at least for these videos? And over here's your announcement board. You'll see things that are various things that you should know about. It might be about some fundraiser coming up or a dance coming up, or one of the first things you'll want to use it for is seeing the new schedule that we're going to have this year when you're physically here. Over here on this chalkboard, you are going to have basically an agenda for the day listed. It's honestly, for me, I just don't mind that you use it as well. It helps me stay on track with what I want to get done each particular day. So it might say, number 1, review. Number 2, talk about the Constitution. Number 3, Constitution worksheet. And then you'll never have to say, hey, what are we doing today? It'll be right up there on the board. 10th grade U.S. history is what most of you will have me for. About a dozen of you will have me for what we call APUSH. That's Advanced Placement U.S. History. So everybody just calls it APUSH. And that's a little bit more strenuous of a class. That's why it's worth college credit. And there'll probably be more things listed there. On the back left, you've got a bulletin board where I highlight Sandusky students, sophomores mostly, or students that I've had in the past, and their accomplishments. I also have ribbons and buttons I've bought over the years that I like to keep and collect over these decades and keep them up there. But anytime a sophomore does something, whether it's in music or sports or academics or just some sort of community service, if it's positive, I put it up here if I see it. If you have something positive that you made the paper for and I didn't see it, boy, I'd love it if you cut it out for me. I'll be happy to put it up there. Anything that's bragging about you, I'm happy to brag about up there. The back wall, of course, is graced with the Bowling Green State University flag, finest college in the Midwest, if not the United States, so we've got to have that flag up there. And then you'll notice a whole bunch of other flags, about 10, and that's because about 20 years ago, I ran Model UN through the Social Studies Department for Sandusky High School the first time. Now I know Model UN is back. I know high school students are involved, and that's fantastic. But this was sort of the first run we had for about 10 years, and we did very well, and these are the flags of the nations that we represented. That trophy was from having the outstanding resolution across the entire state that particular year, I think 2004 maybe. And then there's a little picture above each flag, and those were the students who represented that particular nation. Over the years, because now these students are 10 to 20 years older, people have noticed their aunts and other relatives up there. So it's kind of neat to see that if you've got a long history here at Sandusky High. Lots of windows. Oh, it's always good to have windows. I hate being in a classroom, no offense, where I can't tell what the weather's doing. I just want to know, did it snow a foot? Is it raining? Is it sunny? It's just, I don't know, it's nice and it's a good view. And then hopefully if you're paying attention, a lot of the times you'll be facing the front and looking towards the front of the room. I love to run around in this general area around this podium, but your notes will be up there on that smart board. They're in a pretty big font, so it should be pretty easy for most of you to see, but if anybody struggles with that, we can move you closer to the front. This is a goal board. We'll have a new goal for each unit that you guys come up with, and if you accomplish that goal as a class, then there'll be some sort of reward. Homework will be listed up on this board. Usually for U.S. history, it says something like, don't forget your document of the week is due by the start of class Friday. For APUSH, usually there's a whole bunch of things listed there. Terms. There's a lot of vocabulary used on state testing that I don't really love. I think they could ask some of the questions simpler. So what we've done over the years, which has really helped people, is teach them the vocab. Because listen, if you miss a question on an air test because you don't get it, because you just didn't remember it, that's one thing, that's fine, that happens. But I never want you to miss a question because you just don't know what they're asking. And so we're gonna go through some of the words they commonly use and make sure you know what they're asking. And so that way we can measure, hey, did you know that or not measure whether or not you knew the words. Oh, and some silly pictures and whatnot back there. And then if you come over to the desk, you'll turn in your work over here and you'll see various things. A lot of times our objectives will be on this poster back here. We've got more BG Pride, little OU Pride. My oldest graduated from there 2 years ago. I mean, it's okay. It's no BG. Now my youngest son goes to Toledo, University of Toledo. That's the arch enemy of BG, so I refuse to put any flag up there. Maybe if he graduates, maybe we'll put up something there. Over here, you will see the ticket buckets. By the end of the year, these will be full, whether you guys are in here or not. If we're doing it virtually or in person, those ticket buckets will be full because every time you do something positive, something good, answer a question, your name goes on a ticket in there and we pull those tickets. The best prize you can win is a document of the week pass. But you can also win some silly things. Over the years, some of my students will tell you about how many super prizes, the way I call them, or silly prizes we have. Oh, what could it be? Well, maybe you answer something right, and maybe you get a ticket, maybe your ticket's drawn, or maybe you just get straight away a sticky ninja. That's a wall crawler, so you throw that guy up against the window or the wall and he ninjas around. Or maybe, just maybe, chattering teeth that move along. Oh, I mean, doesn't that just make you want to do well in history just for that? How about parachuting robots? I believe somewhere in this pile I have parachuting ninjas as well. I mean, I invest in my super prizes. And don't tell anybody this, but a parachuting robot or ninja with the right wind can gracefully make it all the way out to that sidewalk out there. And then, I just play dumb when they ask where those came from. A lot of times though, unfortunately, especially if the wind's coming towards the school, they just plop straight down there. Oh well, these things happen. But again, this is the room that we can't wait to have you in because I completely agree and understand why we're not meeting in person. But like everybody else, I can't wait until it's safe to see you again and have a regular history class where you can see your friends, where you can learn history, and where room 253 will welcome you back. All right, guys, just a silly look at the room you will eventually get to. Have a great day.